My friends already know that I say this to every single Genshin event I've been in. Well, what can I say? It's true. Every event they release is a banger, no matter if it's big or small, like the toy making event. After playing through the main story of the Summertime Odyssey event, I gotta say this is so damn hype. Like, holy shit. Like, Sorry about that. Anyway, when I first saw this, I was like, oh hey, what an interesting group. However's really be giving us the fan service you want, huh? I've never played the first event official was, and so I didn't really know a lot about her personality. But I did know that she was a Chunibyu, and that she and Mona were friends, so them being together didn't really surprise me. And also, I never got to play the original Golden Apple Archipelago event with Clay. So, before doing this event, I watched some gameplay about it just so I'd understand what I'm about to get myself into. So, to briefly summarize what happened in the previous event, Clay got sent a suspicious letter from the Dodo King telling her to go to an island that no one's ever heard of. Venti does though. After some convincing, Jean and Barbara joined us to find the island. Venti just casually calls over Divalin to give us a ride to the island, which I think is funny as hell. Man's really became our Uber and doesn't even question and complain. Honestly, a better familiar than freaking Yaimiko or Asado. After solving some puzzles and after Jin and Barbara changed into their summer clothes, this was when the outfits were released. We encountered a broken Magu Kenki which Klee thought to be the Dodo King. Inazuma at this time wasn't out yet, so this was one of the teasers about it. Also weird that Jin knows about Inazuman culture apparently. Anyway, suddenly Kaya and Diluc, there I said Diluc and Kaya correctly, happy now? I know you're watching, joins us along with Albedo and Razor who got separated initially but everyone reunited after a bit of dialogue. Apparently the four dudes also got a letter. Kaya spoke about a treasure, Deluxe was about the Abyss Kyodan or the Abyss Order, and Albedo's and Razor said something about Klee being kidnapped. Albedo suspected that the letters were to get everyone together, and he was right. After beating the Magu Kenki and solving a few puzzles, it was revealed that it was Klee's mom all along who set up the whole adventure. Who's Klee's mom? Alice. Who's Alice? Oh, she's just all of these. She's been alive for a long time, long enough to even see Yaimiko as a kid. Anyway, the ending was very wholesome. Alice modified the entire archipelago so Klee could have fun with everyone. She spoke to everyone through the phonograph that we see at the start of the current event, cause she was too busy with other things. I think that's cap though, cause she apparently knows every important detail about everyone. Like, imagine Mona's astrology but maxed out. Also, I only noticed after her long speech about Klee and her intentions, I realized that Klee was an elf. I totally thought that that was hair. Kusanali was the first elf I noticed cause the ears were pretty obvious, but Klee's just wasn't. Also, I don't own her yet, so I wouldn't know. So that explains why Alice is still going strong even after being in this world for so long. Now, back to the event. When I first saw this cryptic message Catherine was reading, I already thought, so we're gonna roleplay for the entire event, huh? Also, I just love this silence. Then I forced her to read it for me entirely. But really all the letter mentioned was to meet her somewhere. Also, goddamn, Oz is a big freaking bird. Or raven. Also, this whole sequence of Fischl just talking is just funny in Japanese, but I can only imagine how annoying it is in English. I may be wrong though, it might be just as cool. I don't know, I don't play in English. I do like how they voiced Mona though. It's kinda toned down, but not in a monotonous way. Kinda gives off a mature but shy vibes. In this sequence, it was pretty obvious that she's lacking any sleep as she mentions afterwards, which I think is a cool freaking detail. This word though, this freaking word that I just skim over because I have no idea how to pronounce it. Wait, you know what?
That I, Fischl, am the Prinzessin der Verirrtelang, sovereign of the Immernachreich.
Immernachreich. Did I do it? Whatever, it's not like I'm ever pronouncing that again. When they mentioned the Spark Knight, I immediately went poggers. Also, I just noticed this while watching my footage. She said she won't be doing any divinations. And of course we approached Venti. After all, he was the one who knew the location and had a means to send us over. Even though I already knew that Kazuha and Xinyan will appear in the event because of the event arts, I don't know why I still got surprised seeing them here during Venti. But apparently they were getting along because of music. Kazuha getting drunk here was later referenced in a letter in one of Kazuha's domains where it says he got drunk as a kid and a servant noticed it. I really like how Hoyoverse tries to fill new players in with details from previous events. For example, when Venti performed in front of the group, he was basically telling a story of what happened at the previous Golden Apple event. Kazuha also says this and is part of the event. But going back, at first I was like, oh nice, what a good refresher. But then it occurred to me, how the hell does Venti know? Now, I've always had suspicions about Venti back in the previous event. It's like as if he was in cahoots with Alice. But he pretty much indirectly admits it. Oh hey, he says elf. He mentions that Alice and Klee were together, so she does visit her from time to time. That's kinda cute. He also mentions Alice had a message for us. Like, goddamn, how much foresight does Alice have? Sheesh. I'm not exactly sure where she says she got this line from, but I'm guessing it's from Dilu, because of the retribution line. This part though, Mana probably saw how Kazuha deflected the Shogun's blade. If I'm gonna be honest though, in terms of strength lore-wise, I think the ranking would either be us and Kazuha as the strongest, followed by Mona, then either Xinyan or Fischl. Let me know what you think down in the comments. For some reason, the way she says "naruhodo" here is kinda satisfying.
なるほど。なるほど。
Also, that thing's just goofy as hell. I'm kinda sad that the volume isn't alright anymore. Now, this sequence is hilarious. Mona really sounds like she's forcing herself to the brim, and everyone's reactions is just funny. I recommend you guys watch the entire sequence for yourselves. I have uploaded gameplay about the entire event if you're interested. The appearance of the Fatui here really caught me by surprise, but after playing through everything, it's not really that big of a deal. It's just some researcher named Persikov who got his project rejected, but refuses to stay down, so he just got to this island to do some suspicious intel to do some fieldwork. He did fulfill his promise of not interrupting us during the entire event, so that's kinda cool. But we do know that he didn't interrupt us cause he was already going insane. I don't know about you guys, but Venti here is kinda suspicious. He probably means good whenever he gives us advice for our problems, but he's kinda been deflecting everything. Like with the Fatui and the Mirages and stuff, and just tells us to just suck it all up. Now, I understand he's busy with his performance and stuff, but I don't know, I guess it comes with being alive for so long and being an actual god. Who knows? I'll just keep an eye on him. Now these two. The boat's in Azuman, so he vibes with Kazuha, but the squirrel apparently came with the whole archipelago when Venti was doing his landscaping when he just became an Archon. Anyway, I like how we just totally ignored them until after we saw those mirages in the cutscene. I already explained Kazuha's story in a previous video, so I won't say much about it here. I suggest you watch it though. I literally just pieced all the info in this event and in the Erodori event and everything else that Kazuha was part of. I find it interesting that even though his domain was really depressing and full of drama, it didn't really affect Kazuha as much. It just shows how much he matured from all these experiences. He actually seems like a better protagonist than us. Fischl rolling off was weird and uncalled for, but it does get explained in a bit after Xinyan's story. I also wasn't around in the event where Xinyan and Child appeared in Inazuma happened, and I never got to research a lot about it, so I didn't know much about her personality too. But even before her Mirage, I already knew that she was wholesome and also resourceful. She's kinda like the mom of the group, which I didn't expect. Kinda like how Shinobu was in the Peridot Trail event. This part's really funny cause it's so meta. Like Kazuha, she's experienced some horrible stuff. It was mostly her peers insulting and stereotyping her because of her unusual tastes, which she eventually gets over. She acted like how Kazuha did in his own domain. It didn't even bother her in the slightest and just dealt with it efficiently. Both of them really have matured from their experiences. I have a friend who's a Xinyan simp, but I think as of me making this video, he still hasn't done the event yet. He's definitely gonna like the ending cutscene though. Also, it's nice how traces of Albedo's presence still lingered on the island. He was part of the previous event after all. In a short amount of time he spent on the island away from the group, he still apparently had enough time to discover the secret of such island and write a freaking essay about it. Also, he made his paper water and fireproof, like goddamn man. It's impressive how fast they move on after reliving their entire life. This time though, the group finally shifts their focus on the Fatui we encountered with Kazuha, which Ivana apparently knows about because of her hacks. Now, I've always thought that it was Alice's big brain that was causing all these mirages to happen, but apparently not. It was the Fatui machine all along. It was just malfunctioning ever since we got there. The first one to get affected was the delirious Hydro fat ass. We never really got affected because we had stronger willpower than them, so it just turned into mirages that showed their life story. I think Fischl's part of this event was the most exciting one. It had unique puzzles, interesting story, we actually got to play all the characters, and last but not the least, a freaking bird was hitting on Mona. This guy really tried to bribe her. I bet everyone, including me, was confused about why Fischl was acting this way. Even though I feel like the reason was already pretty obvious, it never really hit me until my friend freaking spoiled it for me. Well, I don't mind really. It wasn't really a spoiler, but more like a subtle detail that everyone must have forgotten. So her real name's Amy, and Fischl's just a character in some fictional story she read up when she was a kid. Her story's a lot different from the other three, as hers were more fantasy-like, unlike the others who actually showed depressing shit. But still, I find it wholesome as hell that everyone's going along with her just fine without complaining. Well, except for Mona. The whole sequence where we got to play everyone all at once was pretty dang cool. But why the hell does Mona have so much attack? Is she the strongest among this group after all? Now this end part though, like goddamn, it's so damn hype. I immediately knew it was Kusanali only because of how many freaking Sumeru teasers there have been. Like I said, I already knew from the Sumeru teaser that she's capable of entering people's minds from far away and talk to them through telepathy. She can also apparently hijack signals. She may be the youngest Archon right now, but she's pretty powerful. Well, of course, as expected from an Archon. Mona was also nervous about getting to know her Mirage, but it's not the same as how Fischl was, cause she wasn't a fraud in the first place. Aesthetic-wise though, I think her domain was the most good-looking one. The puzzles were also cool. After playing through everyone's domains, I noticed that all the puzzles follow the same premise but were executed differently, which I think was pretty sick. The only unique one in my opinion is Fischl's. But just like everyone, Mona also struggled a lot in the past. Botch hadn't moved past all of them yet, unlike Kazuha and Sinya. Evidently so when she genuinely thanked us for praising her. Now this part. I always thought that she was poor her entire life, but apparently she's living in freaking luxury. Also, I like how they suddenly started talking about food after being teleported to Mona's house. Thank God Oz is here to get us back on track. After everything, they finally figured out how the machine worked, which I already explained a bit earlier. It affects everyone, but the effect depends on how strong the willpower of the person is. People with visions automatically have a strong willpower because visions are formed when a person has a strong enough ambition to be noticed by the gods. The Fatui dudes on the other hand are pretty flimsy, so they went insane instead. You know, I almost confused this Mirage Archon to be Venti, but of course it's Kusanali. I thought of Venti first cause he is capable of casting some strong genjutsu, like what he did with Barbara and Stanley. With this, I guess we now know how Persikov got to this archipelago. He did his research in Sumeru first and apparently got some info about Kusanali. But still, for whatever reason, they still rejected this project. This would mean that they aren't all that interested in Kusanali's powers. Makes sense since they only really care about the Gnosis. Even though we got recognition at the start by Mona, I still find it weird that we didn't get affected one bit by the machine. We didn't have our own Mirage and we didn't even go insane, so I don't really know what's up with that. Maybe it has something to do with Kusanali's powers affecting us? Speaking of Kusanali. But yeah, if you didn't already notice, I'm pretty gosh darn excited about Sumeru, and I bet a lot of people are too. If you are, then why don't you go down the video and give me a like? I'm just kidding. But that's pretty much it for the event. Well, the main story of the event. I still haven't done the side stuff. If I find any more noteworthy lore stuff, then I might make a video about it. I've already said this before in the video, but I have recorded and uploaded gameplay of the entire event, so if you wanna relive it, then feel free to check them out. Lastly, I'm sorry that this video is such a mess. I just had so much to say about this event, so I just decided to say them all in a video. Anyway, that's it. Bye.